Hello and welcome to a little how-to guide to get to Boracay Island. Now, it is done over 3 different stages. I'm going to use Google to help me to show you exactly what it is that we are trying to achieve, but the transportation for the next 42 minutes is covered if you want to do what we are in the process of doing. Now, I apologise in advance. I am going to butcher most of the pronunciations of this, but it is easy when you know how to get to the island itself. So as Google Maps is now showing in front of you, so you can see where we're going from to where we're going to and just how small the airport is itself, this is where you pick up the first bit of transportation. So this will take you to the boat. Now, the only thing I did not film is walking from the airport to this e-trike, which is a little bit annoying, but it is what it is, because all you do is you walk in a straight line from the airport, you come to a car park. In that car park, you've got a couple of different tour advisors, and you've got all the minibuses and all that kind of thing. From there, you then just walk down a little bit of a slope, and you have all of these amazing machines parked up back to back to back, and they are waiting to take you to the actual dock. So that is where we're going to be going to now. We have got the next couple of minutes or so just soaking in everything on this island before we then get on the boat to then make our way over to Boracay, and then from there we will then pick up another e-trike, which is their equivalent of a taxi, to then get over to the actual hotel itself, which is in a perfect location in walking distance to both beachfronts. The island itself is incredible and there is so much to do, so keep your eyes peeled for all of the different activities and all the other videos that are going to be coming up within this playlist. But this is very much a case of a how-to guide to get to where it is that you need to go on Boracay Island. Now, there are a couple of things to consider if you are a foreigner or you are a local. If you are a foreigner, you will pay thereabouts double per ticket price. So if you are going as a group of a local and a foreigner, for example, if the local will pay 180, you will easily double that because you have a tourist fee and all of that kind of thing to cover. Now, you will obviously have to pay from this bit to get to the actual dock, and then you've got to sort out all the paperwork for the boat, and then when you get to the other side you then just pay for a cab. But you can see the luggage in the back. You can see it is an amazing little thing because it is just a Honda 125 that you are driving around in, and it is a really nice, cool, breezy way to get about. And this is the first ever time I've been on one of these things, and I absolutely loved it. So as we progress through, like I said, we are just going to go from a bike to a boat to a bike to a hotel. It sounds that simple, and it is, as long as you don't panic and you just go to the right place. So let's just recap the thing I did not film. Out the airport, once you've got your luggage, you head towards where everybody else is walking, which is basically all of the transportation. That is a big car park, like I said, where you've got all the different tour guides and different bits and pieces like that. Now, you can use those, I do believe, to get to the island a slightly different way, or it will take you down to where it is you needed to go, but it's quite fun just using this instead. Now, from the actual car park, you just walk down a slope, and there is all these bikes parked in a parking bay with a ticket booth. You will then pay for the actual use of one of these. You get given a little ticket, they come and help load your luggage, on you sit, off you go, and they are just taking you directly to the port. You don't need to speak, you don't need to tell them where you're going. That is the sole purpose of these. You could potentially use them if you wanted to go somewhere else, but I think they literally just shuttle you from the airport to there and back again, but obviously speak to the person in the ticket booth. But as you can see, we landed in the closest place possible, but the island itself does not have an airport. But it was amazing to see all of the different bits and pieces. Then from there it gets a little bit tricky, because you will then unload your luggage. You will then go indoors. So on the indoor, you will then pay for the different bits and pieces, and then when you go outdoor, you will then find a different table for the boat that you need to get on, which will take you to the correct part of the island. And then when you get on the island, you are away, and then you just need to find somebody that will just take you to your hotel. So that is it. 3 different things we're covering, 3 different things to pay for, 3 different ways of doing it, and 3 different ticket booths. Now, I am very, very lucky I was not doing it by myself, because I would have absolutely no idea what I was doing. But I am very, very grateful and very, very happy that I had the experience of doing all of this. And obviously the sights and sounds and the views were fantastic. And if you are worried about travelling through different villages and towns for whatever reason, even though you probably wouldn't be wanting to travel in the first place, you are super, super safe. And I've got to be honest, this is a lot easier to navigate than America, because you have got so many different transportation options. You're not stuck to an Uber, you don't pay through the nose for everything, and they have got it set up perfectly, because you will just get your ticket, go to the correct boat, and they just take you to the correct part of the island. And it runs all day. It's like every 15 minutes or so, it's just continuously going. It's just non-stop, basically like a shuttle service. And then these will continuously shuttle you to and from the airport as well, because on the way back got exactly the same thing. So it was really, really simple to do. Now, I have filmed the return leg as well, but I have not got to that memory card yet. So on the return leg, I really, really hope that I have filmed the bit where we walk from the bike to the actual airport, and then you will see just how easy that is. But because the card sizes are so big, it's an absolute nightmare. But that is the first leg done. It wasn't that scary, was it? So those little minibuses there are the things that you have got the option of taking if you wanted to, or you can just take one of these little bikes if you wanted a bit more of an experience. And I guess the cost is there or thereabouts the same. This is much better in my eyes, because you're not stuck in with another 15 people. Right, this is the indoor bit. So you go out, you jump off your bike, take your luggage, take it to the desk, and then you pay for what it is that you need to pay for. But you can see you're just sorting those bits and pieces out from there. Then from there, you will wiggle round, and then you will find the people that you need to speak to, which is just obviously these tables just here. They have a card in their hand. You fill out some information about passengers, and then you get given a seat number for the boat that what it is that you need. So you can see that you've been told there exactly where it is that you need to go, and then you are away. Now, I am not going to lie, I am not the one filming this. All I had to do was carry the luggage. I did not have to sort any of this out whatsoever. And like I said, I am extremely grateful that I did not have to sort it all out. But then at the same time, it was very, very simple, because the system that they had in place was spot on. It was so simple. Like I said, you just go from one place to another. Everybody is obviously going to these different places. There's lots of different boats to get on. The next bit will make you giggle, because the storm was on its way and the rapids were on their way with regards to the waves, and it got messy quite quickly with me trying to hold the luggage as I'm walking, but it is what it is. So that is a good bit of fun. But you saw the volume of the minibuses that are coming back out again. They will just be going straight back to the airport to then pick up some other tourists, because obviously they will pick them up all around the island, and then they'll take you to here. So they have got really, really good transportation services, because you can easily get on one of the bikes, or you can hire either a private minibus, or you can just get picked up from a stop, and then they'll take you to exactly where it is that you need to go. So we know the boat that we're getting on. The ticket, I think, is a slightly different colour with the seat number, so the people can see exactly where it is that you need to go. Down you go. And then now this is the bit where you just try not to fall over. So this gets a little bit fruity quite quickly. So I'm just going to go quiet for a second or so, because there is some giggling going on in the background, and then I'll catch back up with you when we get on the boat. Yeah.
This is fun. I wish I could take pictures.
It's honestly amazing watching this back again because of everybody that is holding on for dear life. You've got the member of staff coming towards us, which was holding on with both arms. I've got a suitcase in each hand, thinking I'm trying to be clever. But just wait for it. The porters are holding 3 or 4 suitcases and walking like it's absolutely nothing. So you've got a full mix of people that are holding on with both hands, trying to stand up. I nearly fell in the water because there were such big waves kicking over to the one side. Now, the guys and girls on here are extremely helpful because obviously they will check your ticket, tell you which way to go if you need to know. And there are porters available as well, which is extremely handy. So when you get off at the other end, they will help you carry your luggage quite a long way, and then you can just pay them whatever you think it's worth, which, to be honest, is definitely worth doing because I was holding on for dear life, and I appreciate the person that took the suitcase off my hand. So we both had a suitcase each, and I was actually then managing to hold on to the rope in the middle, which is about now, because where we're stood, it starts to get really, really bouncy. And then you've got to try and climb up that. So if you don't know how, the guy in the orange t-shirt, you are my hero of the day. I don't know who you are, but thank you very much for just grabbing the suitcase and carrying it up for me, because I would not have had a chance. Now you're on the boat for the next little bit, and again, it all goes by the ticket system. It's all organised. They know when the boat's full, boat goes off, and then the next lot of people will come down for the next boat. You sit in your allocated seat number, and it keeps it really, really easy. And then all that happens is they leave. I say they leave, we leave the little sort of port bit. They'll come down and they'll ask for your ticket number. You give them the ticket number that you sat on, so they got the wad of tickets again, and then obviously they'll just give them to the people at the other end. Then they'll just hand them back out again, and then they fill the boat back up, and it just goes from one way to another. But I've not cut much out at all, just so you can see how long it takes from the airport to here. So we did, luckily, and it was by luck, manage to do that in one take. So when we signed for the actual paperwork, we did just manage to walk all the way down in a straight line and just get on the boat. Obviously, if the boat wasn't there, you would have more than likely have waited in the bit where it was all nice with all the seating, but it just happened to be that when you got your ticket number, straight onto the boat. So where there was the bit on the inside, that would be the place that you might have to wait for 15-20 minutes if you're waiting for this to return back, for example. So it'd be used a bit like an airport terminal, or clearly a boat terminal, because there's lots of places you could sit down, but that was all uncut. So from walking around and filling out the paperwork, which took about 2 minutes or so, walking all the way down over the bouncy bits of the water and then getting onto the boat, that was all real time, apart from the 30 seconds or so walking up the ramp. So it literally, what we're seeing now is everybody just powers in very, very quickly, the boat fires up, and then we are away. So it probably, all in all, maybe took about, we'll say 50 minutes in total, with the bits and pieces that I've had to take out while you're filling out paperwork on the inside as well, and obviously trying to find your bearings and just figuring out exactly where it is that you need to go. But at least you now know that when you come in, you go to the desk, you fill out all the bits and pieces, down the slope you go, and then you go to your sort of seat ticket allocation bit, because you've already paid for it, and then obviously you just go from there. And then if your boat's there, you're away. But you can see all the other boats that are coming in, so they just keep continuously playing tag. And on the way back as well, so leaving the island, it was super, super smooth and quick. I think all in all, again, it took about, probably a little bit quicker actually, it felt a little bit quicker on the way home. So we gave ourselves an hour to get from the hotel back to the airport, and I think that's a realistic thing. So if you give yourself a full hour to get to the airport, and obviously you're thinking about the time that you're going to be flying out from, you'll be okay. But as you saw in Google Maps, our location of the hotel was absolutely spot on, and it was that, again, you will see just how easy it is to pick up one of the little trikes, and it just takes you straight to where it is you need to go. So with regards to the stages, the first one is basically a transportation to the actual port, because that is what they do. They pick you directly up from the actual airport, and 9 times out of 10 they're going to be going here anyway. But like I said, I think they will take you around the rest of that island that we're on if required. And then of course you saw all the minibuses that you could just pile into if you wanted to, and then they take you to this port. Then this is just a water taxi that takes you to and from, and then the difference after that is you will then need to find the equivalent of a local trike taxi, and then they'll just take you to, and then getting back it is also done that way. Again, they're everywhere. So easy, very, very cost effective, and it was really good fun to do all of that kind of thing as well. So again, with regards to the water, it didn't feel that choppy. So if you do feel a little bit seasick, maybe have one of your pills if you need to, because this was probably the choppiest it was going to be walking to the boat, and more than likely that is when it was going to catch you out. So the actual ride itself, it was a little bit bouncy, but nothing drastic. It wasn't too bad. Then obviously the little bikes either side of it was nice and simple as well. But you can see what they have around all of the islands. They've got different tours that you can go on. They've got little speedboat things you can go on. You've got canoeing you can do. You've got kite surfing. You've got snorkeling and all of that kind of thing. And of course, all of that will be coming, or some of that will be coming within this playlist, because we did manage to get a lot of the bits and pieces done. So it was a very, very successful time in Boracay. But there was a huge storm the day, either the morning of the flight, because we did get delayed flying out. It was very, very heavy rain, because the rain was coming from here to where we were taking off from, and I will add that footage in right at the end. In fact, I'll overlap it somewhere in this video of just how heavy the rain was on the actual bus. I'll do that now so it breaks up just looking at all the waves. And yes, that had come in from where this was. So I highly recommend, when you're on the boat, change to flip-flops. Just change to some sort of sandal wear, so it's barefoot stuff, so you don't have to worry about your trainers getting absolutely drenched. Because walking to the hotel, it was about shin deep. They had done their best for you to kind of stay on bits and pieces, but it was just rain and seawater. So that's all it was. The second you had your flip-flops on, you could have just walked straight through it. But when you're coming into an island, to a hotel that you've never been before, and then you've got your trainers on and it's dark and you're not 100% sure how far you need to carry the bags for, it could get quite emotional quite quickly if you're not expecting it. But if you're in your flip-flops, it doesn't matter, because obviously this is the rainy season, so be prepared for that, because you will get caught in some downpours. And I have a fantastic downpour on the GoPro, because the heavens opened and it absolutely smashed it down. And the amount of water that was running past the hotel within an hour was incredible. I've got a new appreciation for Mother Nature with just how hard it can rain in certain places. And obviously I will be overlapping all of the different footage and all of the different photos that I've taken in all of the other videos as well. So I will try and give as much information as possible. And what else is still to come is obviously what the hotel we stayed at was like, how easy it is to get from the hotel to the beachfront. That's a nice short video. And then what's located around it, and then it's how easy is it to get to all of the activities, how do you book the activities, what are the walks you can do, and other bits and pieces like that on this island before we travel from here and then go somewhere else. So that is that bit done. So we've now, the boat started to slow down, so I just cut that video off. So like I said, instead of this being about a 42-minute process, it'll probably be about a 50-minute process by the time there's little snippets that I've cut off, and then obviously stopping the camera when paperwork and things were getting filled out. So definitely can be done in an hour, because it was, I timed it on the way back, and it was just under an hour, I do believe, going from the hotel back to the actual airport itself. So that was absolutely perfect with regards to timing. But this video is just under 43 minutes in length. It doesn't take long for the boat to clear out, as you can fully well imagine. And like I said, there are porters on hand to help, and then you can just tip them if you want to. If you've only got a small bag or you're feeling strong enough, then obviously give it a go. But this is quite a trek from here to the actual vehicles that you need to pick up from. And you can see the hustle and bustle that'll be coming in a second with regards to just don't panic. Basically ask the question, tell people where it is that you want to go, and they will point you to basically the group of vehicles that will be going in that direction. So you will always get anywhere that you need to go. It is really simple. Just don't panic. That is the best advice I can give. It's so easy compared to what I've done in the past, and obviously I've done stuff by myself and then realizing, well, I can only walk. When there's no transportation about. Whereas this, you were spoilt for choice, but because you were spoilt for choice, and it was very busy hustle and bustle terminals, which you'll see what I mean now, because there are loads of boats here. And there's lots of other little bits and pieces happening. There's your seat numbers. That's obviously where you sit down from. That you can get a little bit overwhelmed just because of how many different options that you have. So just bear that in mind. Just take a deep breath, figure out exactly where it is that you need to go, and then you are good to go. So you can see the porters, they are all in their nice bright colourful tops. Amazing. He literally just threw one suitcase up on his shoulder, carried the other one, and it was not a problem whatsoever, because they obviously know the technique of what they are doing. And the fact that you saw some porters with 3 or 4 of these, and bearing in mind those suitcases will weigh close to 20 kilos each, and they're just throwing it up like it's absolutely nothing. Another one in the hand, and job is a good one. It makes your life so much easier. But I'm glad they did help on this one, because you will see in a second, it is quite a long walk down. Now when it is really bouncy, just be careful on your step on the way down. They have got the grids cut in, so you can easily put your trains on there on the way up and back down again. It wasn't as bouncy this end. You can see the wind in people's hair and just how many boats are up. You can see the other boats are having other people get off as well, so they would have come from somewhere slightly different, and they're all coming to this, well, fantastic island as well. So obviously, depending on the time of day, will depend on how far down this red thing that you've got to walk. And on this one, it's a little bit wider, so I think that might have been a little bit easier with regards to how vicious and violent it was for the actual waves, but there isn't anything to hold on to. So if you do need, or you struggle, for example, with walking around or whatever, maybe just have a stick, just something easy. I would imagine if you ask politely, somebody would have just offered you their arm and they would have walked you down the red thing. So you can see how amazing all the staff are, just keeping everything still as everybody's walking down. But this was not a problem walking on this bit whatsoever. Then you've got a lovely beach. So this is just gorgeous. So you've then got a lovely little beach, and then from there there's just a huge car park where there's a load of hustle and bustle, and then that is where you then need to find your correct transportation to take you to the hotel or your accommodation of choice. And then, like I said, once you've found that, you can just sit down and relax. Now we managed to get a group of 4, so there was 2 twos. The first 2 people got dropped off wherever they got dropped off. Then the driver did what can only be described as the most impossible. Well, it wasn't even a 3-point turn. I don't know how many times he went forward and backwards, but basically got stuck between a wall and a hotel, but managed to turn around because the driver before it did it. But the driver before crashed into the wall, and I've got a funny feeling that is on the camera as well. So when that starts to happen, I will then go quiet, and then you hear the thud as he hits the wall. But obviously, nobody cares, and they just carried on. So we are now off the bouncy bit, onto the slightly harder decking, and then soft, glorious white sand. And this is where you then can either just grab your suitcase from the bottom, or they will carry it up a little bit further for you. You can see that you just keep going up and up and up and up, because this is obviously the first ever time any of us have done this. You don't know where you're going. And now you've got all of these different e-trikes in here. So you just keep walking through, you're following the person ready to get your suitcase, so that is where we are going. We're actually on our way to get the luggage because we're following the guy. And then you've got all of these. These are very similar to the airport that we saw, and then we've collected them. So that is as simple as that. Pay the man and move on. And then we do literally a ice skating rink, circle. So you just wrap it round. Spoke to a couple of people over there. They weren't the right ones, and then they said move over to the ones in the middle. Over to the middle we went, jumped in, off we go. Simple. Honestly, it was that easy. So you can see that there's so many of them lined up. Now, the really good thing is, from a tourist point of view, they have a price list already there. So they can't do you over on the money. You can see how much it's going to cost. And obviously, if you tell them that you're going to the hotel, they'll give you the exact price before you go. But it won't make a difference which driver you speak to, because it'll be the same price. So this is not a problem whatsoever, because obviously we know what it's like with certain taxi companies in certain parts of the world. Especially when you're a foreigner, they'll make it 4 or 5 times more expensive, but they have the price list in front. And like I said, to get to where we needed to go for the port, it was a prepaid ticket, and it was just double for a foreigner than it was for a local because of the tourist fee, but it will always be the same fee. Now, this is the only thing that I was thinking, is this going to be the expensive bit? And it's not. So it was nice and simple, nice and easy, and yeah, you did not have to worry whatsoever. And you can see as the dark night starts kicking in, it is a beautiful, beautiful place. So you can see now we have got a nice little drive for the next sort of 20 minutes or so, and then we will get to exactly where it is that we need to get to. And it was amazing, because as the further you went in, the more exotic it got, the closer you got to the beaches. You could explore all this if you wanted to. If you stayed down this way, you could have done, but staying basically in the centre, it was just incredible. Just being able to do all those little different bits and pieces, and the drive was just incredible as well. Now, the cool thing is we're actually in a battery operated trike, so there was no noise, there's no engine noise on this one. It kept a really good amount of power as it went up the hills, bearing in mind there is a lot of us. Obviously those little camper van type minibus things behind us, they're all built with huge Toyota engines, so those things are rapid, because I've been in that one as well on this adventure, and they have got some oomph behind them as well. And as you can see, as it goes to overtakers, all of the little mopeds as well are quite nippy. So a lot of people just tend to ride bikes absolutely everywhere. It is definitely a biking island if you wanted to get around, and it is really, really easy to get around as well. So the different configurations of the different variations of the transportation, you can see that this one is different to the other one. This one has the bike in the middle, and then you've got seats for 4, and then you've got enough for all of the luggage. Whereas the first one that we got onto, it was basically a sidecar, but the sidecar was made of a car, and they'd squished it all down, had the headlights, the tail lights and everything on that as well. So that was a really, really cool thing to see, and obviously getting in that more and more, that was obviously a good bit of fun as well. So like I said, we are dropping somebody else off, and it was supposedly on the way to the actual hotel that we were staying at. So again, take it with a pinch of salt, because I said this video is around the sort of 40 odd, 42ish, 43 minute mark. But now with this bit, I forgot that we did share this ride with somebody else. So this either might have added on a couple of minutes as well. So if you are just thinking of staying at the exact same hotel that we stayed at, do it, because it's beautiful, and the location honestly is perfect with just getting around. You can get to all the eateries that you want to get to, you can get to all the activities. Like I said, be sharing with all of that with you in the future uploads. But an hour and that's it, an hour and done to get from the airport to here. And that was, again, on the way back, we didn't have to wait for the boat or anything like that. So maybe you don't really have to wait for the boat, because as one pulls out, the other one might be coming in, or they might just pass each other in the water very, very quickly. So I don't think you have to wait too long for anything like that at all. So it's just one of those things of, you can just easily get about, you can make the most of the local transportation, and then obviously you can go and see and explore a lot of the island. One day, if I ever go back here, it'd be very, very interesting to maybe hire an e-trike for the day and just basically do a big island tour, because they do say they do them, and it is a good few hours. But I think you get to get dropped off, you get to see different bits and pieces, and you come back through. But at the same time, they'll just take you to more of the touristy places. There are lots and lots of different beaches to have a look at over here as well. Loads and loads of photo opportunities if you like that kind of thing. But again, from the hotel that we were staying at, you could just walk 3 minutes, and then you are in paradise if you wanted to be, and you could just stay there, grab a bite to eat, go for a walk, go back to the hotel, go for a swim, do other little bits and pieces, get to the activities easy enough, because it was just happened to be our location from the hotel was all in walking distance for that kind of thing. But then obviously if you wanted to go further up the island, you would have to get on what we are now, and then we could go off and explore those kind of things. So yeah, it was all really, really easy and good fun, and you soon get used to everything as well. You get used to the heat, you get used to all of that kind of thing. I can't wait to go back and explore other little bits and pieces and just sort of do some other island hopping and that kind of thing. Every single person that was a member of staff was amazing. They were all very, very helpful. It's just a beautiful part of the world. But like I said, if you are thinking of coming over to Boracay and you want to see the different activities, keep your eyes peeled for lots of these different bits and pieces and lots of these videos, because I have filmed as much as I possibly could do, and there will be a Philippines playlist available. So obviously the Global Life Travels channel is all to do with traveling, vlogging, different theme parks, different activities, and just stuff. And that is what it's all about. Some how-to guides will start to be appearing, and just the easiest places to get to different restaurants and all that kind of thing that you would have seen on TikTok or Instagram or other bits of social media as well, and just trying all of those out. The food was outstanding over here as well, and the hotel was beautiful. The accommodation was really nice. The breakfast that was included was really, really good. Normally it's just like a little buffet or something like that, but this was actually off a menu, and the omelette that I was having was fantastic. Have different ones of those. The juice and everything was great. All the different kind of shakes that are available, fresh mango shakes, anything, say cucumber then, but you've got coconut and all of the other ones like that. Fantastic. So yeah, sport for choice if you like your shakes. Lots of different milkshakes, lots of different ice cream shakes as well. So yeah, I was right in my alley for all of that kind of thing. So you can see we are just plodding along and just cruising about, like I said, with regards to getting closer and closer to this beachfront. All of a sudden we will end up in a really busy area. So it's bizarre. So you have basically got a rectangle of water, which we will explore in a different video. Round that rectangle is lots of shops. There's like a supermarket and all of that kind of thing, and then you can just fork off, and then you've got about 50 restaurants. Walk through that restaurant area, and then all of a sudden you're at the beachfront, and that beachfront is kilometers long, and there is just restaurant after restaurant with a sea view front, and then you've got some nice little gift shops and different things like that on the one side of the island. On the other side of the island is where all the boats and everything go off from, and that is where you can have all of your adventures on the kayaks and do all of that kind of thing as well. So we will explore both sides of the island. We'll go for some nice walks, and I will cover basically as much as possible here before we move on to the next location. So there is lots and lots of different bits and pieces to look forward to, because it is such a beautiful island. And like I said, watching all of this back is bringing back some amazing memories for me already, and I am very, very much looking forward to coming back again. So I can't wait to get back and just explore this and see other little bits and pieces. There's so many other different islands that you can go to, using basically the local airport as a hub, so you don't have to come back to this one. You can go somewhere else. You can explore other little bits and pieces as well. It's not, like I said, you've seen it, it's not that difficult to do what I've done, but you don't necessarily have to get off an island to island hop to another one. If you didn't want to do the boat, you could just land in a local airport from, say for example, Manila airport, and then you can just stay on the other island instead. So if you did get a little bit seasick but you didn't mind the flying, you could just do that instead. So yes, you are very, very much spoilt for choice with different locations that you can go to and just other different bits and pieces that you can see. So I want to share as much as possible with you on this trip, but you're going to have to bear with me because a lot of the videos are long. It's taking a long time to put them together, and then I've got to do a full voiceover for the 42 minutes as well. So each video on average is going to take nearly 4 or 5 hours to put together by the time they've been uploaded onto YouTube and you've done all that weird and wonderful stuff. So yes, it's going to be a lot of work involved, but hopefully you're enjoying this as much as I am watching all of this back. Now, I do believe we're getting quite close now to the 475 point turn, because you can see how now the road has suddenly got tighter and tighter, and it's going to be very, very interesting very, very quickly of how many times he does try and turn around. But I think we follow somebody else around it. How he does it is very, very impressive. These things have a fantastic turning circle, but this is the main road in one of the areas, and obviously you can walk down here and do these different bits and pieces, and you can see just how tight it is starting to get. And this is where the one in front of us crashes into the wall. So I'm going to go quiet just for a second, just so we can hear the thud. I turn the camera around so you can see how tight it is, and then I'll catch back up with myself.
He's not doing 3.10.
Ba't kasi naikot siya dyan yung pinipili? Kasi wala naman U-turn doon, beachfront beach na yan. Hindi ba kayo pwede dumaan doon, Kuya Sarah?
Hindi po,
So mga ano lang talaga, mga pulis-pulis lang doon, yung mobile ng pulis.
Ang hirap dyan umikot sa liit mo yan.
Doon kasi mas meron kasi wala sa spike. Hello, Kuya, kaya niya.
And just like that, we are back off again. Massive credit to that guy in the green there that is just driving off. There must be, what, 30, 50 people stopping and watching? Look at all the people that are waiting to get past. So, yeah, it is an amazing, amazing experience in place. So I'm about to jump off, if I remember rightly now, because we didn't move too far down. And then we've got to do the same thing. So we end up doing the same thing as a turnaround. Then we've only got a couple of minutes. So I've got to move the bags out of the way for those ladies. I then don't have the camera anymore. So as you can see, I passed the camera over, which is perfect. And then there I am stood looking like a melon, not knowing what I'm doing whatsoever, and thinking, are we at the hotel or are we just waiting to get off? But you can see what a place. The eatery that we're at, I do believe, was a very, very popular place just here. It was like a big open kitchen to the one side or the other, and there it is, just through there, and that was absolutely gorgeous smelling. So I think that was where a lot of people tended to go and eat, and I think they were just setting everything up because there's obviously so many people walking down this way. This is an area that we did not explore again because it was just a little bit, I would imagine it might have been a little bit away from our hotel, and we just didn't have the time to go down all of these side roads. But you'll see now that we're really not that far away. So what we're coming up to 37 minutes into the video of the 42. Our guy now is doing a much better job than what the other geezer did, where he's just forward and back. Thanks for how they've done that so quickly. They've got to get it done fast, and you've got all these people trying to squeeze behind them as well. So I think we then shoot down this road and then just turn right, and then we come into the centre of where is the main stop and pickup point basically for these trikes, where you can then obviously easily get around the island and do those little bits and pieces like that. And then the next video will pick up from here. So I will try and either get the next video directly from here, or it will just be a hotel video to the actual beachfront, because obviously I want to show and share with you just what is around that area and basically the first experience of the evening. So we basically dumped the bags off, walked down a little bit with a pair of flip-flops on, which you'll see just what I mean by how much water there was, and then seeing everything for the first ever time, I think I'll just do as a separate video, and then there'll be more informational videos to come just like that. But I highly recommend coming here just for the food. Lots and lots of good places to eat, fantastic menus, massive selection of absolutely anything and everything. As you can see, we're now still driving up the road that we've just come down, and then we just go round one of the islands. I'm just trying to get my bearings to exactly where it is that we are, because some of these I might have walked down the main roads but not re-walked down the side roads, because like I said, there's so many cut-offs that you can go down. It's a really big island that you can explore by foot. Obviously you can explore it by e-scooter, or you can hire a little moped and you can just see even more stuff for yourself if you wanted to as well. So if you really do like exploring and getting out and doing all of that kind of thing, then you are absolutely laughing. But like I said, if you enjoy water, you enjoy sunsets, you enjoy lots and lots of photos, this really is the place for you. Honestly, it is a beautiful and breathtaking experience. I'm glad that I managed to film lots of different bits and pieces. So overall, hopefully you found this helpful, because we're about to run out of time. We've got about 2 minutes left, and then we are just going to pull up into the main square. The main square is where you go to pick these up from to get back to the actual, obviously, the airport itself. Like I said, give yourself about an hour in total is what you need to do. You can do exactly what we've done for this bit into the middle, or if you wanted to, you can organise or get your hotel to organise some sort of pickup, which would be slightly more expensive, and then that will just take you to the little port, get on the boat, over you go, and then from there you get back to the airport in a couple of different ways. So you can either get on a wagon, or you can get on one of these little bikes, and then you are good to go. The way back is quicker than the way here because you're going downhill. And so the actual airport to the actual port took a lot. Well, I say a lot, it didn't feel, watching this back, it was a lot longer, but it felt a lot shorter on the return leg because you were going down the hill, whereas coming up the hill, obviously it's only a little 125 Honda with a huge sidecar, heavy luggage, and 2 human beings beside the driver as well, so it did struggle a little bit to get up the hill, but on the way back down again it really didn't take that long. But there will be a full video going from the one bit to the other, and I've just got everything crossed that I had the camera out and filmed the little bit getting back up to the airport itself. If I didn't, I will kick myself, and I will make sure for future videos that I film the whole thing, so it's just easier to show you as I am trying to explain different bits and pieces. But we've got about a minute and a half left. So if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, that'd be absolutely fantastic. We are in the heart of everything now with regards to the shops and just the drive around. Obviously this is just a nice little area that you can walk around, and then from here you're minutes from the beach. But you can see just the volume of traffic that is about now, so you know exactly that we're getting closer and closer to the centre. And you can just see how many of these little trikes are about, loads and loads of them, so really easy to get picked up. And it just happened by fluke that our hotel was, if you walk out of the front door, turn left, will take you pretty much in a straight line, well, it will take you in a straight line to the pickup point for where you need to go back to the port. So where the driver stops off, we only have to walk a couple of steps back, and then we have to walk down what felt quite dark at the time, but when we did it again it wasn't a problem whatsoever. Down you go, straight to the hotel. And like I said, you want to have flip-flops on. You can see the driver pointing to where it is that you're going, and we're asking a couple of questions of where do you get picked up and yada yada yada. All super easy. Loads of water to the left hand side. That's a beautiful walk just over there as well. Some nice little shops and everything just to the right hand side. So yes, it is a beautiful and magical place. Really, really easy to get around. You can see how quickly it got dark though. That was pretty much a 43-minute uncut version of how to get where we're at the moment, as the dark nights are starting to kick in. You can see all of these just here to the right hand side. The driver is about to pull over, and then we literally walk down in a straight line to the hotel. And if you carry on walking for a couple more minutes, well, you're at the beach. So we're about to take a left again now, because we've just driven all the way around the square, and then he will pull over and we will get off. So guys, that is it, and I am done. So one more time, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, that'd be absolutely fantastic. But as always, thank you very much for watching. You lot take care, and I'll catch you next one. Ta-da.